Good morning and welcome back to Season 1, Episode 2. This is the MG channel. My name's Lorena Mitchell, and this is Scathy over here in the back here who's going to be helping me out today. Okay, so I know there's actually been a few questions coming in privately about diet and myasthenia gravis. So today's focus will be a little bit on that. I wanted to talk to you about, when you get busy, people with myasthenia gravis have this general tendency um, to eat badly because you're tired. You're doing the fast stuff. You're having hot dogs. You're going out to McDonald's, and you're really getting in a down spiral slope with this because you're tired, or you don't eat at all. That's one of my traits for sure, especially drinking. You forget to drink. So you need to enable yourself in order to eat better, and you're going to have to spend some time with prep. I know this is hard, but you really, really need some prep time for making sure that there is healthy snacks for you in the fridge, waiting for you when you're too tired to do stuff. One of the things I like to do is on Sunday or Saturday, whichever day I finally get to rest enough to do this, is I like to pre-do a few things for my meals and my family so that I have some quick stuff. It might be that I make a big soup so that there's like ready lunches. Let's say we're off on holidays and stuff, so I will prepare something in the morning when I'm at my best, so that they can have something home cooked throughout the day. So I like to do soups. I used to like making bread, but it's nice, let's face it, fresh baked bread. Well, you know what? At the grocery, you can actually get frozen bread that is already in a dough, and then all you have to do is defrost it. So you just have to remember to take it out overnight, and then you want to put it in your pan, just throw it in the oven, let it just set overnight, and then in the morning you can start your oven and have some fresh baked bread for that breakfast in the morning. Raw food is really good for myasthenia, and I'll tell you why. There's more nutrients in that. One of the problems that we face with myasthenia gravis is we have deficiencies. Okay, one of those is manganese. So it's really, really important for you to understand this manganese deficiency. And what it is that there is manganese in almost everything. Dark leafy greens is most prevalent. Black olives, do you ever have a craving for those when you're tired? I do, actually. I crave things that have high manganese when I'm not feeling well, when I'm really tired. So one of those things is the absorption rate. You don't absorb the same. And I've also had B12 issues in the past as well. And with myasthenia, I think you just don't absorb the same. And you have to enable yourself in order to have a better outcome. One of those is stinging nettle. Stinging nettle contains a lot of manganese. Manganese imbalance is very good for your body. So you have to listen to your body when using manganese of any sort, but if you're using it from a natural source, like you're using the actual plant stinging nettle and you're having tea, or you're making soup with stinging nettle, a lot of people buy this stuff and they only make tea, and they don't understand that stinging nettle is a wonderful thing to have in a soup as well. I use it all the time, and you can use it from the natural source. You just need to be careful, wear gloves when you're picking your stinging nettle. Those little stingers are great for arthritis. However, if you have arthritis, let those stingers get your joints, because that will actually alleviate the pain. Manganese actually reduces swelling in the body as well. So if you have any type of swelling issues from arthritis or psoriatic arthritis, any of those, it really is going to help you. You just need to maintain balance. So when I have downtime, so I'm having a few weeks where I'm just way more fatigued, This can be brought on by your periods, let's face it. The whole week before my period, I'm just toast. I am tired. My eyes are blurry. I'm having trouble concentrating. A whole host of things. And of course, this can make you irritable, and sometimes your family's not going to understand why. And it's when you get irritable with myasthenia, it's not because generally that you're just bitchy. It's because you actually can't think. And when you can't think and you're blurry in your head, you tend to have more of a get away from me response. And that's more what it is. You just want to be left alone. You're tired. You can't think your way through a box. So if you have a partner that's driving you like around the bend, in other words, they're trying to get you to think when you're in this condition, one of the things that they don't get is that it's like you're on drugs. You're really fuzzy. I mean, you really are fuzzy and you can't think. So if they can think of it from that perspective and give you wide berth when you're feeling that way. And every myasthenic is different. Let me just be clear here. Not everybody is whole body myasthenia like I am. I have it in my eyes. I have it like all the way through. And it can impact my breathing. But I'm still not considered a brittle myasthenic by any stretch of the imagination. I'm controlled. I am not in remission. I deal with myasthenia, I think, every single day. However, I don't live my life by it, if you will. So a lot of people don't even really know what that is that are around me. They don't understand really that there's anything wrong with me because I've modulated my work days. I've modulated how I do things so that, when I'm having issues, it's going to be more at the end of the day. So my family will know for sure, right? So once I get beyond supper, that's it. I'm in the point of shutting down. Now, one of the cool things about myasthenia is usually you get numb when you're in that state, which means I generally sleep like a baby, which is great. Like when I go to sleep, that's it. I'm done. I don't have insomnia or anything like that. My husband does worry sometimes, however, when I've had a really hectic week, I start to have very low respirations while I'm sleeping, and this is a real problem for some myasthenics as well, because although they say that it's affecting the involuntary and voluntary muscles, so the diaphragm is affected. What they don't tell you, like they say that, oh, that won't kill you. However, if your respirations are low enough, long enough, you're not oxygenating properly, you actually could die. And my husband's a nurse, so he does worry about me. He gets me to move to my side so I'm breathing more freely, not laying on my back, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, and isn't it always fun that you always sound sick when you're tired? Okay, because the cough, right? So what happens here is that you're not swallowing your saliva. The muscles that are both voluntary / involuntary in your throat stop. It just stops working the way it should. So you start coughing because there's a buildup of fluids that are down here. So, the natural involuntary reaction of your body is to cough. You can also have this effect if you've had too much Mestinon, and this is really important. Too much Mestinon is the same as not having it at all. So if you are on Mestinon and you've noticed that your medication is making you cough and the saliva is building up, and you're peeing more often, let's be fair, that also happens, you need to understand that you're actually over-medicated. And one of the problems with all of the medication really for myasthenia gravis, I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've had it work for me, but it's really like a crisis intervention when I use it. It's really, really important for you to understand that this will cause you to, over time, you'll need more of it. seemingly, but this constant overdose state, it's not really helping you. And if you're coughing and you're having trouble with your saliva, you might want to, instead of increasing your medication, start bringing it down just a little bit and see if you get added value from that. You want to always do this slowly, to see how this and your body is going to react, especially if you've been on the medication heavily for a long time. You really want to be careful. But here's one of the problems with all the medication. It has magnesium stearate in it. Magnesium stearate is a real problem here. It will cause exacerbation of myasthenia gravis symptoms. And basically, for those of you who are on higher doses of medications, and that can be the Mestinon, the Prostigamin, and any host of other ones that they're now coming out with, you have to be really, really careful. Sorry, see what I mean? I'm starting to get tired. You have to be really careful because this is constantly impacting you and causing exacerbation of your symptoms at the same time. So are you an overdose, or are you just having an exacerbation of your symptoms because of the magnesium stearate? So in my case, I was able to go cold turkey off of this, and it did take some time because I was on 3 pills a day when I was young for the Mestinon, and it took me a good 3 tries to get off. So now if I go on, it's like a half tablet under the tongue, because I'm having some real issues. That hasn't happened for a while. I was chemically exposed to some stuff that really, really messed me up. Nifedipine and pentoxifene. Guys, if your doctors are telling you to take this stuff, you be careful. That stuff is incredibly powerful and impactful to myasthenia gravis. The exacerbation of your symptoms could become so extreme, and you could become so very sick. And it can take weeks, months, years to recover. So you really need to be careful about what type of medication is being offered to you, what you're exposed to. Hey, and do you work in the pharmaceutical area? You might want to be very careful about all the things and compounds that you're around at work. So you want to really check this stuff out. Now, for things like Aleve or Advil, like things you want to take because your head is killing you or something like that, or cold or whatever, there is liquid gels out there. Liquid gels do not contain magnesium stearate. A lot of people with autoimmune problems, such as the myasthenia gravis, generally are also multiple immune issues, and that's the case for me. I stopped going to doctors because, quite frankly, I was being diagnosed with one every single time, and that was I don't know, we're up to like 5. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through all of them, because I think basically what happens, this is Charlie, by the way. Hi, Charlie, look over there. Here, isn't she cute? She's our latest little brat in the house. You will find that there's certain things. So when it comes to myasthenia gravis, you need to understand it can also mimic other things. It can also be that you do have these other problems. So first, number 1, get your diet under control. All right. I have found in the beginning I was using what I found really helpful is a couple of tablespoons of raw hemp seed a day. This was a nice, very balancing product, and I, within 15 minutes, could feel the hood lift off my face. Remember, myasthenia, you do need a quick sugar sometimes, but if you don't balance that with a good protein on the back end of that, you're really going to have issues. Try to stay away from the processed food stuff. Get back to more natural base foods. Base foods, like chicken. Okay, that's a base food. The stinging nettle product itself, not in the little tea bags. A raw carrot, that kind of stuff, right? So don't overcook stuff. You can partially cook stuff and retain more of the moisture. You can steam. You can eat it raw. I know there's been a lot of recalls lately on raw foods, but you can wash it. And you need to learn a little bit more about the different diversities of the vegetables and things that you're eating. Um, and they'll have different impact rates on you. So it's really, really important to be careful about your medications, to be careful about a lot of people with myasthenia suffer from allergies. It's just all about the autoimmune until you start really getting your system so it's not so sensitive to everything. And I know it even sounds like I have a cold right now. Do you have that? Anyway, that's because I'm getting tired, and you'll notice that I have one eye that droops. Yeah, it's pretty normal for us, isn't it? I want you to remember every myasthenic is also different. And when I talk about different, I mean that some have just limb involvement, some are very critically ill, some people have just blurred vision, double vision, and because you can have myasthenia in your eyes. So it's really important to figure out what kind of myasthenia you have. Don't fully listen to the doctors. Really important. Listen to your body. You need to get in tune with yourself, because they like to play God when it comes to myasthenia, and it's really frustrating, and I've seen people die. So this is really important. You need to control that. I've heard a lot about people having trouble with anxiety and stuff and stress. I think that anybody who's sick can become depressed. And I think anybody who's sick can, especially if they're not used to it, like let's say they came from a normal life and then all of a sudden their life got turned around, which of course didn't happen to me. I just sort of live with the ups and downs of every single day. So I learned how to be a human yo-yo when it comes to that, I guess, is attitude. You really need to have a good attitude. And you know what? The term fake it till you make it, you really need to make this work for you, because you will not feel good like that all the time. But if you actively take your brain and say, I don't need this to define me, then it won't. And this is my take on today. So I've started into talking a little bit about some of the foods that I've used, and we're going to go into way more details later. This was season 1, episode 2. I don't want to make this too long, but if you like my videos, and hey, we're just starting out, but we're going to go a long way with this. We're going to actually start getting into maybe some cooking. We're going to be answering tons of questions. So whether you send those privately or you like, subscribe, and of course hit the bell notification, please comment. Let us know how you're doing. Do you have a specific question about how you're dealing with something, or you want some advice? I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I can tell you how I handle those things, and then you can sort of take from that what you need. I'm not a doctor. I just have been living with MG. I'm almost 50, and I was diagnosed at the age of 2. So I have been kind of up and down. I've gone from extreme crisis all the way to living without, most of my adult life living without medications. And I use foods, diet, positive attitude, and I give myself time to be down. This is really important. Like they talk about resting at intervals and all this other, what is that bullshit, right? Okay, so what that is you need to first learn about you. This is a real difficult thing, especially for some ladies. We've got kids, we've got lives, we've got jobs. And I mean, a lot of people think, oh, wow. So what do you mean? How do I do that? I can't just stop and nap during the day. We don't actually need a nap, by the way. Our downtime is more of a restful, zombie-like thing. So zoning out. You need to zone out, and you need to not talk, and you need to just veg. It's called couch potato, I think. But we need to do that. Anyways, you need to figure out when that is for you. Now, if you're really brittle, you might actually need that to happen more often than I do. And of course, I have to sometimes give myself more time as well. But generally speaking, after supper and in the evening is my time to zone out. And I really need to do that. I need to just zone right out and veg. And I can't be dealing with other issues at the time. I need to unwind, I guess some people would call it, but in our case, it's actually regenerating. So it needs to be a low stress time, and you need that time before you sleep in order to have a good sleep. And your good sleep, and if you have any of the painful other autoimmune things like I do with psoriatic arthritis, so after a heavy day I hurt, but the myasthenia numbs me, which is kind of a great balance, so I get to sleep really well. So I need you to embrace yourself. I need to, you need to, in order to get a positive attitude, you just, instead of saying, you know, everything is crap, you just need to understand day by day what the good parts are and focus on those, because there are good parts, always good parts. And you need to find those and you need to focus. And I know it's really, really tough, but you do need to find time for you. That I can't stress enough. You really, really need that time. And you need a non-stressful home life, you know? So make sure that your home life, you can do the unwind thing, because you'll find yourself in a position where you won't be able to climb out if you're in that situation. Anyways, I need you to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and hey, welcome to MG channel. This is Lorena, and I'm here for you.